Everyone, let's continue with our series of post-PMP training videos in which we will explain how these questions, very similar to what you will get in the PMP exam, how could you understand them in real life scenarios, like in real situations, real projects? First of all, I'd like to remind you that whatever we have learned in the PMP training and whatever we go through, in any material is applicable to either projects, uh, business studies like case studies, operational work, business work, managerial operational work, etc., etc. So it's really applicable to any types of organizations, businesses, projects, product development, etc. Okay, let's look at this question here. So the project manager's firm is executing a construction project, okay? And there is, let's say, a fair or a decent percentage of people enrolling in the PMP training who come from the construction industry, okay? The project is stalled, it's not moving forward due to re-emerging conflicts and misunderstandings among stakeholders. Now, I think a lot of us have witnessed this, whether we worked in a construction project, in a construction company, or actually we just, witnessed construction projects, whether public projects, operated by launched by the government, or private construction projects, okay? And conflicts and misunderstandings, they emerge all the time, among stakeholders, in different types of projects, not just construction, okay? So I think this is, let's say, a very recurring situation. Now, what should the project manager do to ensure a smooth start and completion of the project, okay? All right. Now, invite all the stakeholders to a change control board meeting, share feedback and facts, and come to a consensus. Or advise the firm to cancel the project due to misunderstandings among the stakeholders and the associated risks. I think answer B, we can already exclude that because again, the situation here is not so grave, so like critical to the point that we need to cancel the project. Now we cancel the project in case there is really an imminent risk, extremely probable and impactful. For that, yes, or there is a crisis. Maybe there is also maybe there is no more money, for example. So then we can, the project can be canceled. But for this reason of just conflicts and misunderstandings, no, we don't need to cancel the project. So I don't think anyone would do that. Okay. Again, we're trying to look at the answers and the questions here from the perspective of what would you do in real life, not how we would answer, not only how we would answer in a PMP exam. Okay. Conduct an online survey, start the project to avoid any undue delays and ensure costs are under control. Now, does this really address the issues here of conflicts and misunderstandings? No, I think it's too far, as an action recommended to a project manager, okay? Determine the root cause of the misunderstandings, get all parties to reach a consensus, and help to implement the outcome. Now, this sounds like a reasonable action. Now, in case you, as a project manager, you find yourself in a project, the project is stalled, is not going forward, because of the conflicts, the misunderstandings among stakeholders. Now, if you want to ensure a smooth start or continuity of the project, then you need to understand the root cause of the misunderstandings. Why do these stakeholders have these misunderstandings now? Okay, try to apply different techniques to get the parties, reach a consensus, like mitigation, sorry, mediation. I mean mediation techniques, direct communication, conflict resolution techniques, try, with direct, problem solving or maybe collaboration techniques, etc. Right? And this, will help, with, to move forward with the project. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So let's go on. Let's go check another situation now. A team has individual daily start times for each team member. Okay. So each team member can start working at whatever time they want. Sometimes the overlap between team member working hours is short, so people don't get to see each other that long. Personally, I have experienced this in one of the projects. Okay, because of the different, working schedule of the people, because of their contracts maybe, or because of the nature of the work needed in the project, maybe because of the time zones difference, okay, or the difference in the time zones. So yeah, so people didn't have that much time to, meet, or I mean, online, or on site, meet each other and talk. So during those times, I mean, the overlap times, okay, the interactions and work as a team are reduced and ineffective. Okay, so here we're talking about a team situation. Have you experienced this? Probably. If even if you haven't experienced this, let's learn how to solve, according, to what kind of options we have here. Okay, what kind of choices we have here. Okay, let's look how, what we can do, to solve this, and that's just one of the ways. All right. Now, what should the project manager do? Inform the team members who are joining late to join early and work together. So we're asking people to come earlier. Does that really work? What if somebody will have to start at 4 p.m.? So should no, if you ask him or her to come at 12 p.m., would that really be acceptable for them? Allocate the overlap time for each team member and ask them to adhere to the schedule. Ask the team to define a team charter and agree on a core working hours, or ask the team to start at the same time to obtain the maximum number of team working hours. I think answer A, asking people to come early is not really feasible or acceptable. And the same with answer D, like, asking the team to start all at the same time. What if it's not possible? Maybe they have a privilege, to start late, etc. So A and D, I think, I mean, I know some people would do it, like, or would try to do it, like, some project managers, yes, or some leaders would try to ask their team, but actually, you know, if people, have certain start time, we need also to look at the other side. Like, we should not just, think from the project perspective. We need also to look at the other side. Now, if the team, they have agreed, if they have everything mentioned in their team charter, okay, if they have everything documented, then, whatever they agree on, they just stick to that. All right. If we have such, a if you have such a situation, where people, have, different working schedules, let's bring them together. Let's try to define a team charter, and then we agree on core working hours. Like, we say, for example, every day from, 12 p.m. until 3 p.m., everyone should be in the office, for example. Okay, so those 3 hours are mandatory to be in the office. Then if you come at 11 a.m., 10 a.m., if or it doesn't matter when you start, but from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. you need to be in the office, for example. Okay, all right. Allocate them the overlap time for each team member, and then ask them to adhere to the schedule. No, actually, you know what? Let's have a team charter together. Let's try to agree on core working hours. All right. That's what we really need to do to solve such a situation. Okay. All right. Let's look at another situation here. So a company is implementing a project with team members located in different countries and time zones. Now, I like these kind of situations because this has become the new normal. Like, it's more common now, to have people spread all over the world, in different locations. So yeah, team members, different countries, different time zones, that's normal. Now, what's the situation here? Individual performance is okay, it is satisfactory, okay, but the team's performance, that's not okay. Okay, so the team's performance as a whole is low, especially in terms of group activities. All right, like, everyone is doing well, but the group as a whole is not doing well. All right, have you experienced this? Have you been in such a situation? Okay, so how did you solve it yourself? Let's look at the options we have here. Now, what should the project manager do? Review and reassign team assignments. Now, um, let's be clever here. Does reassigning team members to different assignments, does that really solve the problem with, like, the whole coherence, or the whole teammanship, between the team members? I don't think so. Okay, so it seems like we need something more. Facilitate communication and team building. Yeah, okay, team building, I think it can do it. Yeah, okay, let's look at the other options. Negotiate for new team members. Look, Now, I really was waiting for this question, or any question similar to this. Look, I know that many people are not patient. They're not patient with their team members. If one team member makes one, two mistakes, maximum three, they just, decide to replace them. Now, replacing team members is not the option. It's not what PMI mindset says. Replacing team members is not really efficient. Okay, should not replace team members, to be honest. Why would you replace team members? If you have team members, current ones, if you replace them, that means you have failed. You have failed because you have actually recruited them, for the project. Okay. Uh, and even if you didn't recruit them yourself, um, if you have them like already given, like that's the team you have to work with, then you have to work with. There are other ways how to resolve any disagreements or any issues. But just firing somebody or replacing somebody by another person, just as a first option, I don't think so. Okay. Review and update the communications management plan. Now, the communications management plan does not really address the point here. Okay, communications management plan, like it contains the list of meetings, who should attend which meeting, the frequency, the time of the meeting, the agenda, the attendees, etc. So it's not a problem about really communications management plan. Actually, if the team is not cohesive, they're not working well together, seems like they don't know each other very well. So therefore, if you have faced such a situation, what I recommend definitely is try to have a team building meeting. All right, try to bring people closer, let them know each other, break those barriers, because their individual performance is okay, but their performance as a group is not okay. Do you want me to give you an example? Probably guys will understand it very well. Imagine, like, a football team, like, full of stars. All right, like 11 players, they're all very very famous, very good players. They they're performing well on individual level, but on a team level, actually, they're not. Okay, they're not performing well. So here is not a problem anymore of the skills. It's not like doubting the skills of the team members. It's actually just whether they really fit together as a team or not, and therefore they might need some team building and proper communication method. Okay, all right. Let's have another situation. Now, a project manager notices that the project team is unlikely to complete the development of a system on time before the testing start date, which was based on the technical complexity of the project. Okay. Now, this technical situation happens a lot. All right. So here we have a team who might not finish development of a system on time before the scheduled testing starts. Okay, and this was based on the technical complexity on the project. So the project was so much technically complex. Now, look, guys, I would like to give you a recommendation. If you have never worked, in a software industry or an IT industry, I recommend you try to have your chance. Try, even for a short time. You don't need to work for a long time in such project. Regardless regardless which industry you come from, if you ever have a chance to work in the IT software industry, take that chance. Okay, take it. Really, you will need it. Why? In the modern project management, not just the PMP exam, in the modern project management, uh, actually in the modern world, okay, technology is a big part of our life. Now, we spoke a lot about, Industry 4.0, transition to technology, AI, everything now is connected. So actually, technology is everywhere. And agile now is an important part of or important way of managing projects. Okay, so therefore, whether in the PMP exam or whether in any transformation your company is going through, you will see that we will include communications. Sorry, we will include technology. Technology, we will include it somewhere in our projects, somewhere in our business, somewhere in our work. And oftentimes, if you'll find yourself, facing a technology challenge. So, what I recommend to you as a project manager is, if you ever have a chance, to work on a technology project, take that chance. Okay, really, take advantage of it. Don't miss it, because actually, it will be so beneficial for you, to try that, and it will help you a lot in the PMP exam, right? So let's look at this here. So this kind of projects I recommended to you. It will help you really understand, how development works, how testing works. Okay, at least try that for a few months. It will really help you. Now, what should the project manager do before communicating with the client during the regular project progress meeting? Okay, ask the project sponsor to inform the client in the next update, or do not disclose the likelihood of a delay as it is yet to happen. Generally, I mean, even ethically, not just with PMI mindset, even ethically, we don't choose just such an answer, like, hiding information, or, having the intention even of hiding information. No, no, really, we don't do that, okay? I know even answer A, like asking the sponsor to inform the client, look, you are the project manager. You're the one in control, okay? You don't really ask the sponsor to inform the client. I mean, you're supposed to do the job here. So I know that not so many people do that. Like, not so many people ask the sponsor to inform the client. Okay, so I wouldn't agree with answer A. Answer B is out. Work with the project team to evaluate the potential delay. Yes, actually, that's a really good answer. Like, if we could not finish the development on time, so we cannot start testing now. No, let's assess, let's evaluate how much delay we will have. So I, as a project manager, look, listen, guys. First, I need to know how much delay there will be, and second, what is our contingency plan? Like, what are we going to do about it? Like, what is our proposal, to the client? Tell the client about the chance for potential delay. I mean, yeah, some people would tell the client, but to be honest, I prefer if, we have a plan. Like, we tell the client, yes, the development took longer, but actually, this is what we will do, maybe to mitigate, or, if we can mitigate, or maybe to speed up things, or whatever, like, the team and I will come up with, all right? Or come out with. So rather than just telling the client there will be delay, just like that, let's share options, okay? Alternatives, maybe, okay? All right, let's look at another situation. An agile project is in its fourth iteration out of eight. After the last iteration review, the team members receive feedback from the security department about regulations with which the project must comply. Now, this is a very common situation, okay? Like, uh, you know, there is some regulations, okay, which are mandatory to comply with, and this comes from security department, which is like double mandatory to comply with. All right, and this now has come, after the last iteration review. All right. So, which two actions should you take as a project manager here? All right. So, ask the product owner to include the requirements in the product backlog. All right. This is a new requirement. Asking the product owner to include it in the product backlog. That means the product owner will take it, will assess it, will decide its priority. All right. Ask the security department for details about the regulation. That sounds reasonable. Okay. Ask the stakeholders about the priority for this regulation. Well, honestly, as a project manager, I don't ask the stakeholders. I know I let the product owner handle it. Okay, because the product owner is the one responsible for deciding priority, of the requirements. Okay. Ask the team members to include the requirements in the next iteration. I don't think it's the team members' decision. Okay, to be honest. Ask the team members to analyze the impact of including this regulation. Well, it's a regulation. Yes, it's good to know the impact, but actually, do they need to analyze right now? Because if that's a regulation and needs to, be part of the project, then I think the best two approaches are, to include the requirements of the product backlog by the product owner, because then the product owner will make the necessary analysis, and also ask for more details from the security department. Okay, now usually if you find yourself facing new regulations in a project, it's always good to gather information. But here, this is an agile project, so, and we have a product owner, so we will let the product owner decide. The product owner is responsible for deciding which requirement goes in which batch, or in which sprint. All right, and the priority, of course, of the regulation, of the requirement. All right, so that's the right way how to do it. And we will collect more details from the security department. Okay, let's have one more question. Okay, we will make this video short. Okay, just not to bore you guys. So we'd rather have shorter videos, like, rather than long ones. A project manager is working on a software development project. Okay, it's good. I recommend you try that as well. Try to join any software development project. You will learn a lot, from the world of software. All our life, in any aspect of our life, there is software. If you go to the doctor uses machines which use software. If you go watch football, the whole game, the whole setup of the match, it includes like technology, and that technology is based on software. In our home, watching TV or using the computer, or lighting the house, that all is depending on software. So really try that, guys. Try to work on a software project, even if for free, even if you just provide some sort of coaching to some university students, which work on developing some software. Provide them with that, and um, provide them with coaching. At least you can, and from them you will learn how developing software can be. So the project manager and the project team identify the project risks, which is good. All right, so whenever you start a project, guys, you have to identify project risks. As the project progressed, one of the risks materialized. Okay, at least it was identified, now it happened. And the project manager referred to the risk, manage the plan to determine how to manage the risk. Because in the risk management plan, which includes the risk register, there is mentioned, the plan, how to, act if the risk materializes. Okay. Once the risk management strategy was chosen and implemented, the risk was closed. All right. Now, at what point did the project manager move the risk from the risk register to the issue log? Okay. Now, if the risk was negative, like a threat, and it materialized, okay, it happened, then it can move to the issue log, because now it has become an issue. So, did the project manager move it when it has occurred, when it was monitored, managed, or identified? Of course, the right answer is when the risk was occurred. So when the risk occurred, sorry, when the risk occurred, not was occurred, occurred. When the risk occurred, and it was a threat, then now it's become an issue, and it will have to move to the issue log and apply the issue resolution techniques. Okay, so that's a good practice, actually. And we will just stop here today. And again, I think the best advice I gave you from today's session, besides looking at different situations, how to understand them in the real world, really try to think about each question as a situation which you might face in your work. Don't think about them just from the PMP context, like the PMP exam context. Think about each situation as if you will live that, or you have lived it. Okay. And the best advice I gave you today, guys, try to work on a software development project. Try that, guys. Really try that so much. I recommend it. All right. Thank you. See you in the next video.